Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Becca Marino and I am a soul mentor here to guide you back to the magic within your soul. Now, before I begin with today's topic, I just wanted to say a little bit about a few things that I'm up to. So one of them is a free webinar series. It is completely free. There is the option to donate if you want to, but you absolutely don't have to. And what this webinar series is diving deeper into this understanding, into the three principles, into how life really works. And the webinar series is titled There Is an Easier Way. So if you're interested, I will leave the link to my Facebook group below where you can find all the information. If for whatever reason you're struggling to find the information, I will also leave my email address there so you can email me with any questions or queries, either about the webinar or anything else if you have any questions. If you want to work with me one-to-one, you can also email me. If you like this video or there's anything confusing at the end of this video that you don't really understand, or another question, another topic that you'd like me to expand on, feel free to comment a question below or whatever it is, or just a comment, and I'll be more than happy to see if I can make a video with your question. So yeah, without further ado, today's topic is the thoughts that keep you awake at night. Now, the other day I was contemplating God and the universe, the power behind life, that magic behind life, that which I'm really talking about, that oneness energy. So I was sitting on a park bench and I had a few minutes before school pickup, so I just sat there and I closed my eyes and I really asked myself, what is this source? What is this power that is holding me? And what came up from that was actually sort of off topic, and what I realized was my life now is a million times better than it's ever been. So my life as a teenager was in my own head, in my own world, nothing to do with necessarily outside circumstances, but in my world as a teenager and younger adult, up until I was about 20, 21, I lived with a big weight, like the weight of the world on my shoulders, and a very, very heavy heart. So I remember having moments and nights where all these uncomfortable thoughts, all these things would just go round and round and round and round in my head. And so now I don't get that as much or at all. And so when I sat on that park bench, contemplating what this universal energy is to me, and what came up from that was this source, this power behind life is the gift that lives through me, that allows me to have these thoughts, be it comfortable or uncomfortable. And it also allows me to have these uncomfortable thoughts safely. Even the most scariest, difficult thought, whatever it is, that the most, horrible thought you can think of. Obviously, I'm not saying go think of the worst thing you can think of, but even there, this power behind life is holding you and guiding you to your true nature, to that which you are, because you are that higher power, and yet it's bigger than you. It's that paradox. And I was kind of blown away sitting on this park bench. I was completely blown away at the comfort I felt, this sense of love and peace and freedom in my heart and within my soul, that even though I lived quite a long period of my teenage years feeling really, really heavy and like I was trudging through mud and everything was very, very difficult. Now I know that it doesn't have to be like that. So sometimes it can seem different when it's the thoughts that keep us awake at night, because during the day we've got work or we've got school or studies or children to keep us occupied or whatever it is, housework, whatever's going on, that like the daytime, it seems to be that we've got something to distract us from our thoughts. But where I'm getting at here is that we don't necessarily need a distraction from our thoughts. Once we know ourselves and we know what our thoughts are, that they are just that, a thought. Once we know that, we know not to be afraid of them. So when these uncomfortable thoughts are coming through at night, sometimes we can feel quite vulnerable and like there's nothing to distract yourself with. The house is quiet, everyone else is asleep. And so when you're sitting there at night with the first thought, oh, I've got 20 things to do tomorrow, I've got one thing to do tomorrow, which then leads to 20, or I've got this bill to pay, or that relationship to mend, or whatever it is that's going through your mind at night, there doesn't seem to be the same daytime distractions that we have during the day. So what I find with that is once we realize that a thought is just a thought and that a thought is a gift, we learn not to be afraid of it. So if there is a thought that pops up in the middle of the night, you wake up or it stops you from sleeping, and it is like something along the lines of I'm not good enough, or I don't have enough money, or how am I going to support my children, or what am I going to cook for dinner tomorrow, or the house is a mess, or my life is a mess, whatever the first initial thought is, if you focus on that thought and give that more attention, what tends to happen is it has thought babies and it creates this rabbit hole of uncomfortable thoughts, and a bigger story builds, which in turn stops you from sleeping. When we focus our attention away from those uncomfortable thoughts and we focus it on something else, if it's possible, get up, instead of ruminating in that discomfort. Get up, walk around your house for a bit, and then go back to bed. And like it isn't a 3-step program, but what I see is that when we have zero tolerance for this kind of thinking, and we're like, do you know what, you're just a 2-year-old having a tantrum over a biscuit, the biscuit isn't that important, so it's not happening, you're not getting it. And when we see it that way, in terms of our uncomfortable thinking, and we have zero tolerance for it, like if we were to have 2 small children, we wouldn't allow the 2-year-old to hit the baby, for example. So when we have zero tolerance for the 2-year-old hitting the baby. So when we have this uncomfortable thinking and we put the statement on it, I have zero tolerance for this, it then becomes this curiosity thing, and that those thoughts don't have a hold on you as much as they did to begin with. So it's a game, it's playing with those thoughts, it's questioning those thoughts, but from a curiosity standpoint, not from a I'm not good enough standpoint, or what am I going to do with my life standpoint, because those sorts of questions come from fear. So when the thought arises, I'm not good enough, you could question it. Why? What makes me not good? Who says I'm not good enough? For example, the other day I was chatting to my work children, one's a boy and one's a girl, so we were talking about names, and it occurred to me that that I don't know who decided what's a boy name and what's a girl name. Somebody decided these, lists of names are for boys and these are for girls, and then someone else decided these names are for both. So there's all these names in the world, and someone has just decided that one is for one gender and some are for both. And so nothing is static, nothing is solid. It's just come from a thought that someone decided, Rebecca is a girl's name. Someone decided that. Someone could have decided it was a boy's name or a unisex name. So when a thought arises in our minds, you're not good enough, who decided that? I think that is an awesome place to end. So next time you're having uncomfortable thoughts that are keeping you awake at night, just remember, who decided it? So I hope there was something helpful in that, and like I said at the beginning of this video, please feel free to comment below, or email me or join my Facebook group. Lots of love, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye.